Rams and Patriots, Tom Brady and the Pats off to their second preseason win over the Falcons. Third quarter here, Patriots down 27-14. Brady drops back.
That's that guy.
To Randy Moss.
Oh, yeah, that's my buddy. Who's your pal?
He goes the distance, 65-yard touchdown. Patriots cut the Rams lead 27-21.
Yeah, he brings speed. Randy Moss down the middle of the field. Two defenders go with him. Nobody on Hernandez, and it looks different. You're not sure if it's a wide receiver or a tight end. Look at Randy Moss flying down the middle. And when you play this Patriots team, the fear all the defensive backs have is that 60-yard bomb in the air from Tom Brady to Randy Moss. Better pay attention to some of those other guys, too. Hernandez, Moss, watch them go down the field. And watch the Bengals. Nobody is covering Hernandez.
Have to get past midfield for the first. And there's Moss. And that little stutter step move allowed the blocks to be formed to pick up the first down. Nice move by Randy Moss. It gains 9, and Welker is one of those who helped clear it.
This is really well done. Nice job by Wes Welker, man-to-man. He takes his guy up the field, then he blocks Randy Moss's cover guy. But you have to find ways. When you have a Randy Moss, you can't just say, run deep, Randy, I'll throw it. You got to find ways to get him the football.
A couple of third down conversions on this series. Now on the slant, it's Moss, and he's wrapped up right away. Just a short gainer, Jonathan Joseph holds him to 5. Has it on the hip. Pump fake, now airing it out for Moss. Oh, almost at the 20. Chris Crocker had a hand in there.
Now that was just a tremendous play by Chris Crocker. But what a throw, what design. They're going across the field, then he turns it up. And this is what you got to worry about. These long, high throws. Good job by Chris Crocker staying in there.
And Brady on target, as he is right here. There is Moss. Sideswipes one defender, and he's taken off. Now, on cue, Randy Moss gets away from Jonathan Joseph.
If you're going to blitz, Randy Moss, I know you don't look at him and you say, wow, big, strong guy, but look at this all-out blitz by the Bengals. Good read by Randy Moss and Tom Brady. He's tall and a lot stronger than you think. Gets by Joseph and gets those extra yards.
32 yards. Maualuga showing some speed and pushing him out. 2nd and 15. Zips it back to Moss. Taken down immediately. Gain of 4. That's Joseph.
Yep.
Happy to be here. Happy with us. That's Moss for 11. Brady's over 200 now. Give him 210 on the game.
Yeah, I love that play. I really do.
That was only for 9 yards.
They just sell it out with the run. Nice play fake, and it just gets the defense up. And look at the space that Randy Moss has, and he goes under control. Well done.
Hey, everybody in there, coaches included. That's good when we all do it on the same rhythm. One clap. One clap. One clap. Sound good. Let's get it. But how do we feel about getting our first victory of the season?
Well, Randy Moss goes down the middle of the field. Look, why would you think he's open? At any time, you can't say he's wide open. He bobbles the football. But Tom Brady, defensive backs underestimate Randy Moss' speed. It just keeps getting, he gets faster and faster. And Darrelle Revis knows he has a deep safety in the middle. He's going to allow Randy Moss to get inside like that. And you're right, Randy Moss has got to make that catch. Good job by Tom Brady looking off the underneath coverage to make sure nobody was underneath that throw.
3rd and short. Moss. It's going to be enough for the first.
Watch this, Randy Moss outside, going to just a little quick hook, getting the first down. Darrelle Revis has to stay off. You don't want to get up there and try to stop a 2-yard route and give up a long touchdown.
Revis might have put a hand in to take it away.
It's Darrelle Revis is just so fast in small spaces. That's what really catches my eye when I watch him. He can be at a dead standstill and just boom, make that move and be right with the wide receiver. That's a tough route to cover. You hear me say this every once in a while. You think arm strength's not important in the NFL? That was as tight as it can get. Tom Brady rips it in there, and the Jet defenders overplaying. Play the field. Play the clock.
Well, they get to the line quickly, don't they? Brady goes for the big ball to Moss. He reels it in with one hand right over Revis. Beat him this time. Boy, they got to that line really fast. I think the Jets were even caught off guard.
That's part of their strategy. We said it early. It's the pace of the game. Keep changing it up. What a throw. And I don't even have to say what a catch. Revis, where's the deep safety?
Moss knew he had him, too. He put that hand up early, didn't he? Look at that snag.
Oh, my God.
How big was the touchback, too? The misplay down at the 1 on the punt coverage. Look at the Moss. Of course, Moss has so many highlights in his career, and this is another big one. Moss with his 150th career touchdown. Just the 4th player all time to reach that number 150. Number 3 is in this game as well.
Well, Randy Moss said he was driven all offseason by a comment Darrelle Revis made about him. A word association game. They said what Randy Moss was said to Darrelle Revis, and he says, what comes to your mind first? He said, slouch.
Well, look at Revis being stretched out. That certainly opened some wounds, didn't it? The only team in the league not to give one up. So they weren't quite ready.
They weren't, and look at this, snapping the football. Everybody, the safety in the middle, Jim Leonard, no, it was Eric Smith, came running up on the tight end. It looked like there was supposed to be a deep safety.
Watch how quick Revis goes to the hamstring after the catch. Watch this. Watch Revis.
Oh, that
he tweaks it right here.
Yep.
Well, he's reaching for it. You'll see it.
The Patriots, they try it. Now, we've seen it twice already this game, right? One deep in the back of the end zone that was almost caught, that was bobbled. And here's another deep one. There's Darrelle Revis. Well, that was a bad step on the right foot.
We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. And you're watching the NFL on CBS.
Moss always loved, kicking it back, having a conversation with myself when I was a rookie. I was big, I was goofy, and he liked that kind of stuff,
he loved it.
And every time I had a catch or, had a touchdown, I'd be like myself, I'd be giggling like this. He'd be like, dude, bro, you always giggling. You're always having a good time, Gronk. Like, it's cool as shit, man. Cool as shit how you are, man. And Moss was like, man, I like how you do this, man. I like that's cool shit how you do that. Like, I'm going to do that after I score a touchdown.
Now they go to 4 defensive linemen, a 4-3 look, 2nd down and 7. Taylor remains. Brady, Moss, touchdown. Randy Moss.
Sometimes you have to run well enough to fool the defense because the Buffalo Bills defenders on the back end in the secondary were all sucked toward the line of scrimmage, allowing, look at this, everybody's going toward the line, and then Randy Moss comes in behind them for an easy touchdown. So the ability to fake the run is good enough to get Randy Moss open on the second level of the defense.
He and Jerry Rice are the only 2 receivers to catch at least 150 touchdown passes.
So we get to the game, he scores that touchdown, and he starts doing this. Like, he's being Gronk in the end zone, and I'm 21 years old, and this is Randy
Moss.
Frickin' Moss imitating me after one of his touchdowns. I thought it was the coolest thing.
So on that drive, Hernandez with catches of 14 and 27, a run of 12. Moss with a 7-yard touchdown reception, beating Drayton Florence. How about the time the offensive line gave Tom Brady on that drive?
Oh, he had all day to throw the ball, Kevin. All day to find Randy Moss in the back of the end zone.
He and Randy Moss have some of the best chemistry in the game today.
With no huddle on the mind of Brady. Great time. Oh, and he's got Moss!
Lots of coverage, including the officials who were there. How about Moss going into the teeth of the defense to make that catch? And what a courageous, accurate throw from Tom Brady.
Corner was back there. Florence was back there. We'll have to see who is guilty. They could not cover Moss. A touchdown of 35 yards.
Here he goes, coming right here, right across your screen, right in the middle there. Look at the defenders. There are 4 white jerseys, including a 5th in the official. Now, this is throwing it right into coverage. Jarius Burks nowhere near to making the play. Both safeties, Dante Whitner and Jarius Byrd were back there, but neither could help the cornerback on the play.
Jack on one more with Gostkowski. That was a 35-yard touchdown pass to Moss. He's caught 2 touchdowns today. To open up the second half, a loud and distinct message sent by the New England Patriots with a 24-16 lead over the Bills. Moss with that touchdown reception of 35 yards, just moved past Marvin Harrison, the great wide receiver with the Indianapolis Colts. 151 touchdown receptions in his career, 152 overall. He returned 1 for a punt while with the Vikings. 2 touchdown receptions today.
But you can see they're not going to go away from Randy Moss. On a couple of deep throws last week against the Jets, passes were intercepted. But they come back to him today. He gets 2 touchdowns so far in this game. So you can tell Tom Brady's got tremendous trust and a lot of faith in Randy Moss.
Let's pay the man.
And that official there, Perry
Man, pay that man. Quit playing.
You'll see Randy Moss, number 81, going for the block and does not make the block. Vontae Davis. Woof.
Well, Vontae Davis is hanging in there against Randy Moss so far. They're mixing up coverages. He's trying to be physical with him. He's been rotating to him. He's had some help over the top. But Vontae Davis has played Randy Moss before. He knows he can run with him. So far, the young guy's been pretty sharp. I like this guy a lot.
Want to kill it to keep that one time out. Hand signal there from Brady. Watch here. Oh, they fake the spike like Marino. Throw to Moss, and he almost caught the touchdown. Did you see Brady grab his face mask and look to Moss? It was the old Marino fake spike, and they almost caught him.
And Vontae Davis was very alert on the play. He did not bite the fake spike, stayed with Randy Moss, and forced the throw to the outside by Tom Brady. Always be alert. That wily old veteran Tom Brady, you saw him shake the face mask. That was tipping Randy Moss that he was going to come with the back shoulder throw. The ball just behind him. He may have been able to stay in bounds if he caught it.
The fake spike and then throwing a touchdown against the Jets, one of the best moments in that AFC East rivalry. And it was almost pulled off there by Brady and Moss.
He's in the backfield one-on-one against Carlos Dansby. You look up top, they're doubling Wes Welker. You look down here, they're doubling Randy Moss. Guess what? Danny Woodhead can beat your prized free agent acquisition.
You know, it's one of the themes here with New England. You have Brady, you have Moss, you have Welker, but you almost have a sense of the rebuild because of what we talked about when we came out of the break, all those young guys.
Yeah, but you're talking about rebuilding while Tom Brady's still there.
That's exactly
talking
right.
about rebuilding without Brady and Welker and Moss. Bill Belichick's done a great job. This team is transformed.
In the extra areas to get a big road win. And a win where Randy Moss didn't catch a ball for the first time in his Patriots career.
It was all about the Miami Dolphins. That's all he talked about. They were 1-4 their last 5 road games. They wanted a road victory. But Bill Belichick rallied his football team, brought him to South Florida, and got a convincing win, and found a lot of new contributors. He knows Randy Moss is going to be there for him.
You know, I just want everybody to understand you can print it. I don't care how you put it on your ink, but, you know, I want to be here as a Patriot. I love being here, but I think from a business standpoint, this probably will be my last year here as a Patriot, and I'm not retiring. I'm still going to play some football. So,
and we turned on the TV. We didn't know anything what was going on, and we turned on the TV, ESPN, and Randy Moss, there it was, breaking news, traded to the Minnesota Vikings. He's the greatest of all time. And it was really cool, though, because he did that press conference, I think, the week before. Like, he wants a new deal. He had his headphones around his neck. He kind of went off, like, the Patriots ain't giving me my new contract. And I thought that was really cool because that's the Randy Moss I knew, like, going off, just being a real dude.
Yeah, he was.
And I love that shit. I love when players act up, man. And I thought it was the coolest thing. So it was sad to see him go.
Randy would roll in and every week give us like a breakdown of what happened on 60 Minutes the night before. And it would be so funny the way he would say shit because he's country as fuck. He'd be like, this bitch over here thought he could kill his wife. Like our receiver coach, he was a rookie at the time, Chad O'Shea. He's with the Browns right now.
He couldn't say shit about it.
Nah, he's sitting there like, yeah, Randy, can we get our meeting started? Randy would be over on the defensive side making fun of Will Fork the whole time. Will Fork's over here making fun of him. Bill roll around wagging his damn fucking whistle, talking shit to Randy. Randy talking shit to Bill. Like, he was fun to be around. You know what I mean? That was Randy.
Well, the news that has got all New England sports fans a buzz, of course, is that Randy Moss has, in fact, been traded to his old team, the Minnesota Vikings, with a record-breaking season of 23 touchdown passes, a total that you may never see exceeded in any of your lifetimes. We will never know what internal things went on. We will never know to what extent Randy being Randy became a problem with the Patriots.
Tom Brady, Randy Moss, something about Moss calling him a girl because of his hair. Are you hearing anything on this?
You cannot discount the fact that Bill Belichick could not have liked one bit that press conference after the opening day victory, which Randy Moss ranted and raved.
So it was always a little bit of a circus around him. It's just he's a little high maintenance. And, you know, I know that Brady did a lot of that. I think there's probably a weight lifted off his shoulders right now for not having to deal with it. But I'm just not buying that he was a terrible teammate just because he got traded. They needed to take a step back and take a deep breath and let all the craziness with Randy Moss go on.
You know, it kind of feels weird knowing that, you know, I was just in New England, you know, trying to make things happen and just overnight just get traded back home. And, you know, I thought about this. Now, all I've been seeing is nothing but positive. So, you know, to all the Viking fans and, you know, just coming to that Metrodome, pull your 84 jerseys out, man. I think this is going to be a fun ride.
Top of the screen, Moss guarded by Cromartie, takes the reverse, and here comes Randy's first touch. It's a little toss to Favre for a first down into Jets territory. Look who's here in town.
I gotta give it.
Kidding me?
I'm gonna call this for being too far down the field. It's a handoff to Percy Harvin, and Harvin's gonna flip it back to Moss, who's gonna look down the field deep, and he flips it to Brett Favre. Who would have thought that would be the first play, Jaws?
Little trickeration early. Jaws, what was going on with Randy Moss in the first series?
Yeah, in that first series, it was Antonio Cromartie matching up to Randy Moss all 3 snaps, and Cromartie matched up to him when Moss was with the New England Patriots in that second half of that game. And right now, it looked to me like Randy Moss is being a little bit coy. He's going to set up that route. He's not going to go full go. He knows that he's the featured receiver.
Well, confusion in the Jets secondary as Favre takes the shot for Moss, broken up by Cromartie. So it's been all Cromartie on Moss like it was the second half of the Patriots game.
Well, this is worth the price of admission. Single coverage, bump and run, man-to-man, Randy Moss against Antonio Cromartie. Favre puts the ball up. You're going to see 3 or 4 more of those tonight. But Cromartie, you can see how he matches up with the bigger Randy Moss. He's got long arms and long levers himself. I think that size matchup is why he's covering Moss.
No question about it. Rex Ryan told us he likes that matchup, the 6'2" Cromartie on the 6'4" Moss.
Big headlines coming in. Randy Moss, what's it going to mean? What are the adjustments Moss has coming to Minnesota?
Well, he's got to learn all the formation, and trust me, there's a million of them. He's got to learn the name of all these routes, how the routes adjust against cover 2, man-to-man, bump and run, split adjustments. Everybody has different rules. Hand signals, 2-minute offense. What are the signals? And how about reacting to Brett Favre's style? He's not playing with Tom Brady. Just lining up and playing with Brett Favre a week after Tom Brady has got to be difficult.
Yeah, and Randy Moss has been struggling getting anything going tonight. Antonio Cromartie just gets in his face, right in his grill at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Again, you'll see the bail technique. No separation at all from Randy Moss. Almost intercepted. Again, no fear by Antonio Cromartie. Right at the hip of Randy Moss. He can't shake him loose. No separation.
Keep it from being painful as the season went on. There is his completion to Moss. First hookup of the night for them. and a first down at the 42.
And there goes Brett Favre with the quick count. He walks up there while the Jets are getting set, snaps it on a quick count. Quick give to Randy Moss. First down, Vikings.
Third and long. See what they do.
Look out. Favre stops on a dime, throws back complete for the first down to Moss at midfield. First third down conversion of the night for Minnesota.
Maybe Brett Favre has a little bit of magic left on Monday night. He kept the play alive here. You'll see they're blocking this up, giving him time. He moves outside the pocket. Made a terrific move on Eric Smith to get the ball out. Randy Moss working downfield. Nothing. He's covered.
Here's the pressure. Favre, jump ball, Moss. Got this one! The 500th career touchdown pass by Brett Favre. And it's the first Favre to Moss.
The New York Jets are going to blitz and leave Randy Moss one more shot at one-on-one coverage. I'm shocked that they blitzed and gave Moss this opportunity on 3rd and 17. It's a great throw. Moss got outside position on the release. He got a step, but Brett Favre makes a sensational throw. But pressure on 3rd and 17 in this situation, I'm shocked.
Don, the key is the arc. That ball just dropped down. A few earlier throws, Favre was throwing him a little bit flat. Watch this ball just drop out of the sky like the raindrops have been dropping all night right into the hands of Randy Moss. And you don't think this guy's excited? 500th career touchdown pass.
Well, we see Moss there with the one glove on the face mask, not the trademark 2 that he usually has. Talk about Randy Moss and coming back to Minnesota. Remember his first 7 years, he and Chris Carter with a 1-2 combo. His first year in Minnesota, they had the best scoring offense of the National Football League. He scored 90 touchdowns. Then 2 really lost years with disappointing Oakland teams that won a total of 6 games. He comes to the Patriots. His first year there was the big splash, the 16-0 season, the record offense with Tom Brady, and all those touchdowns he produced. As the trade happened, you kind of remember Randy, when he arrived in Minnesota and arrived in New England, was part of 2 of the best offenses of all time that never won the Super Bowl. The 15-1 Vikings that lost the championship game, 16-0 Pats that got to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants. Question now is what kind of an impact can he have on Minnesota? And that was a little bit of the instant impact on the last drive, Ron.
Well, there's no question. He's the kind of guy, you just got to keep feeding him the football. When you get the opportunity, he's going to make a play. He's an amazing wide receiver. You think he's just not showing up, and all of a sudden, here you get the opportunity, comes up with the big play for the Vikings. Well, you'll see right here. Look at Cromartie. They're shoulder to shoulder, but this is just a perfect throw. Cromartie's in good position right there, and FB has no chance to make a play. Again, it's the rainbow kind of throw. A little jostling here, but look at the vision. And that ball just drops right into his hands. Almost knew where the ball was coming, kind of shielded Cromartie a little bit so he couldn't make that contact and get his jump where he could knock the ball away. That's a coy wide receiver understanding how to play a defender when the ball's in the air.
As the Jets' third down play was going on, Randy Moss is there with offensive coordinator Darrell Bell. I can run this play in the 2 minute. Can we do this, by the way, guys? We're going to get the ball back here, I think. Oh, here's the play back behind us. What's going to happen? All right. It's incomplete. Now, awesome? Let me get back to my play. 3-man rush. Favre loads up for Moss out of bounds. Randy at the 44-yard line. When the game was not played crisply, Moss's debut. His 4 catches, 81 yards, 1 touchdown.
Favre on a 2nd and 12 and finds Moss for the first time today. You know, one of the questions was how was Dallas going to play Randy Moss? And they do not want to give up the big play, obviously. They've got the safety here deep. He's about 25 yards deep, and they were one-on-one with Randy Moss and Michael Jenkins. For so many years, after not being drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, Randy Moss, when he plays against him, tears him up. Only 1 catch in the first half. Do you look for him to be more involved in the second half?
Well, I would sure hope so. I mean, only targeted 1 time. They first have to be able to protect. Brett Favre. But if you take a look at what happened here in the first half, they're going to work a safety, as I said. Alan Ball typically is going to be over the top, but that's nothing new for Randy Moss. He has seen this many, many times. And Brett Favre knows this as well, and he has said, I'm going to give Randy Moss plenty of opportunities. In last week's loss to the Jets, he got targeted 10 times. And in the first half of this one, as I said, just once. And I would expect that to change here in the next 30 minutes.
Of course, Randy Moss said he has forgiven but not forgotten Jerry Jones for leading him and his mother to believe the Cowboys would draft him with the 8th pick back in 1998. You were still playing for Dallas. They were concerned about character issues with Randy Moss, so they chose Greg Ellis instead.
Well, we played against Randy his rookie season there in Dallas on Thanksgiving. He had only 3 receptions in that game, but all 3 went for touchdowns and over 100 yards receiving. So you're right. He has had some big games against the Cowboys, but so far in this one, not what he had expected in his homecoming back to Minneapolis.
Brett Favre on first down, and there's Randy Moss. You thought they might target him more frequently in this second half. Favre again to Randy Moss, and that's a first down. 1 catch in the first half. 2 plays from scrimmage in the second half and 2 Moss catches.
Well, you see the respect that he's going to get. Michael Jenkins is bailing out. They're trying to, they call that a buzz technique with Keith Brooking in order to provide basically a double team on Randy Moss. Michael Jenkins stays deep. Brooking comes underneath, but you know, even with double coverage, this is a guy who can get down the field, and they want to utilize that. I thought it was interesting last week in that game against the Jets, after talking to both Brett Favre and Randy Moss this week, that the touchdown catch that he had against the Jets, the first touchdown, that wasn't even a design play. He just basically told Favre when they came out of the huddle, I'm going deep. And Favre didn't really know what exactly that meant. If it was a deep post or a go route or what, and Favre just dropped back and heaved it, and it was a pretty good play. I think they ought to call that one up a few more times.
Favre fakes one way, back to Moss the other way.
And you're going to see Igor Olshansky right there, and Steve Hutchinson thinks he's in a pretty good position. Didn't anticipate that Favre would be so shallow within the pocket, and he got a pretty good lick on him, but a well-thrown ball right there. He had safety help over the top, but that's that little void in the zone.
Blitz coming, Favre gets it away, first down. Randy Moss.
You know, that was obviously a nice first down there for Minnesota. With no safety help, Dallas rarely comes with no safety. Nobody in the middle of the field right here. So if somebody can beat someone inside, then you're talking about a touchdown. I thought that's what Favre was going to try to take advantage of, but he also had the one-on-one to Moss. And, of course, first things first, you want to get the first down.
Final count of 24-21 Minnesota.
Randy Moss, Rand University.
Favre, play action, throws, caught, 20-yard line, Randy Moss. His first catch. Clay Matthews came in that time and really popped Favre, but he hung in there as he has for so many years and finds his man Moss.
Well, you're going to get Charles Woodson coming here and then Clay Matthews working inside. So it forced them to come outside to pick him up, which opened things up for Matthews, and finally a shot on Favre. You know, they're playing some games on the outside with Randy Moss. They're trying to make it look like single coverage, but there still is a safety up over the top here. They're trying to bait Brett Favre into taking his shot down the field, and see plenty of distance there, 16 yards deep and backing, because the one thing you don't want from Randy Moss is for him to take the lid off your defense.
Fake draw. Favre to the end zone, reaching out for it, catching it, Shenko, touchdown. Peterson throws a block. What a beautifully designed play.
Well, and it's due to the fact that Randy Moss is on the field. Despite the fact they're trying to disguise that it's single coverage, on the outside, Randy Moss is going to have a safety work over the top, which meant that Shenko had nobody in the middle of the field. Brett Favre sees it. Shenko gives him the hook, and it's a touchdown.
Four-man rush. Favre escapes. Favre going deep downfield for Moss. He lays it up there, and Moss makes the catch. And a flag goes down at the end of the play. It was Moss and Nick Collins, and Moss using that body to get position. But the Packers applauding, so it looks like, at least for the moment,
pending the call here by Green. It's coming back.
Interference, offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, I'm not sure it really impacted the play so much, but Randy Moss puts both hands on the back of Nick Collins, and you can see him does get pushed off the ball a little bit. Good call by the officials, and for Randy Moss, and especially for Mike McCarthy, a big sigh of relief here over what Randy just did.
And Peterson takes it out to the 37-yard line. And what do the Vikings want to do here? They're letting the clock run.
Yeah, Randy Moss has his arms out like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Let's go.
But instead, whoa, yeah, he doesn't like, he says, hey, come on, we have timeouts. Why don't we use them here?
Yeah.
What are we doing sitting on the lead? It's an interesting call here because, I mean, if nothing else, lob up another one and see what Moss can do.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Randy's right.
Pretty formidable pair out here when you got Percy Harvin and Randy Moss. Moss is going to go first. Woodson jumped that, so you just go to Percy Harvin in behind it. And I tell you, those two guys have become pretty dynamic since Randy Moss has come over. You know, and before and during timeouts, you're seeing Randy Moss coaching these young guys up over there. You know, not much Randy Moss hasn't seen. It was kind of interesting. Brett Favre talking about Randy Moss, and Randy was coaching him on how to throw the deep ball. He said, put a little air under that one, Brett. And he'd come back and say, that's too much air underneath that one, Brett.
Favre throws, caught, Moss walks in for the touchdown. Randy Moss. He and Harvin work well together.
Yeah, Percy Harvin really made that touchdown. It's a pick that's not a pick. You come out here, you run him into Randy Moss's defenders, just clear a little space. There you go. Send your thank you note, Randy. On the outside, just gets Woodson to bite enough.
The last time Moss scored a touchdown in this building, it was that famous virtual mooning to the crowd. This time he simply hands the ball to the official. 28-24, Green Bay. Everybody in Lambeau on their feet. Favre slings it, caught, Moss to the 35-yard line, first down.
Why not? You get the ball in the hands of one of the great players in the game and let him go to work. Nobody expects him out the back door. There's Randy Moss with his block. Good block down the field. And there goes Moss. Just enough right there.
So some boos for Favre. I would imagine a lot of them are directed at number 84, Randy Moss. They cheered Randy Moss for the last 3+ years.
You know, of course, Randy Moss comes into this game, and there's no doubt he wants to have a big impact. And you see, they've got a safety right here over the top, and they're going to give help. In fact, Randy Moss has said that he doesn't anticipate being able to get any balls down the field. And he hasn't really been able to here over the last couple of weeks anyway while he's been in Minnesota. The last 2 games, his longest reception is only 18 yards, but he's going to have to be very patient in this one. You can see Brandon Merriweather right here. He's about 20 yards deep. That is very deep for a safety to be playing, giving help. And then you've got the help, you know, right there by McCourty jamming up on Moss off the line of scrimmage. And this is kind of what they've been doing to Randy Moss. They jump out Tully Banacane, the linebacker. He's going to try to get a look on Randy Moss. They've got a corner there in Kyle Arrington, and then he also has safety help. Now they go Moss in the slot, and they're going to work Gerard Mayo his way as well. But every time that Randy Moss is lined up, there's been 4 sets of eyes at least, or 2 sets, and then 3 at times. That is what really got lost coming into this game was Randy Moss coming home, you know, and I know that he was looking forward to playing in this game. And we had a chance to visit with Randy a couple of weeks ago, getting ready for the game right after he had been traded to the Minnesota Vikings, and asked if he was surprised by it, and he said, no, you know, I really kind of smelled it in the air. You know, he knew that his days in New England were numbered and that he would not sign the big contract that he was looking for.
Quick slant catch made by Randy Moss. So there's his first catch of the day. You know, you got to give a lot of credit to both the New England Patriots and Moss. Moss never said anything bad about New England. In fact, a lot of good things about his relationship with Tom Brady. Robert Kraft, in fact, before the game, went over and made it a point to shake hands and visit with Randy Moss. A lot of times those things get ugly. It didn't this time.
Well, nor should it have. The Patriots gave Moss an opportunity. I mean, he became a Hall of Fame player while he was with the Patriots. When he was at Oakland, there were a lot of people thought his career was over. Well, it hasn't been the day that Randy Moss expected coming back to New England, but you know, there's a reason for that. They've done a lot of different things, New England has, to keep him from getting the ball. He's just gotten one reception on a short pass, but you see the various looks that he's going to get. And he anticipated that coming into the game, but they just haven't been able to find ways to give him a chance. And I know that Brett Favre is wanting to, and he'd like to give him a chance down the field, but you just can't throw it into coverage. And you're going to see why it's a 15-yard gain, because Merriweather, you see him, look how deep he is right here, and that's because of the Moss factor. They don't want to give up the big play, and he's going to be the first guy to make contact on Toby Gerhart, but by the time he gets there, yeah, Gerhart's already traveled 15 yards. Now, I have never seen a safety play that deep in the NFL in all these years.
Jailbreak coming. Favre looking for Randy Moss, and that's a flag against the defender, Brandon Merriweather. Spot of the foul will be the 8-yard line. 1st and goal upcoming.
They brought an all-out blitz. This time they bring Devin McCourty in one-on-one with Merriweather. That's the first time today that they've shown one-on-one coverage, and they've got him matched up on a safety. And you know, it was actually a smart play by Merriweather, because that was going to be a touchdown. Favre laid it up perfectly, and Moss was going to go get it. And you know, once Merriweather saw that he was running a go route as opposed to a hitch or something of that nature on a hot route, then that was a smart play on his part, just getting the PI and not giving up the touchdown.
Look, I got fined $25,000 for not talking to you all. So from here on out, I'm not answering any more questions for the rest of this season. And enough said of that. Now we get to the game. I missed them guys, man. I missed the team. It was hard for me to come here and play. It's been up and down roller coaster emotionally all week. And then to be able to come in here and see those guys, you know, I missed the hell out of them. Coach Belichick, he gave me an opportunity to be a part of something special. But I'm going to leave the New England Patriots, Coach Belichick, man, with a salute, man. I love you guys. I miss you. I'm out.
Now,
what's this all about?
If you're Randy Moss, do you A, want to have the ball thrown to you, or B, do you want to have the coach praise you after the game because you draw double teams that enable other guys to catch the football?
Had that here.
I think we know the answer to that question.
Randy Moss, it didn't work out. I'm not going to get into any particulars. I do wish Randy the best of luck in whatever the future holds for him down the line in football. But you know, it just it was a programmatic non-fit.
After claiming Randy Moss a day after he was placed on waivers by the Vikings last week, Moss arrived in Tennessee yesterday and reported to the Titans training facility just this morning.
He leads this Tennessee offense here today.
And he's anxious to have Randy Moss on his side again. He says that Moss is still the fluid athlete with a great speed and great hands. They played together back in 2005. Moss averaged nearly 17 yards a catch with Collins throwing him the ball.
Moss starting, and he opens up on the outside with a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. They send Moss in motion. Backs and receivers, Randy Moss, Jeff Fisher telling us he's never been around anybody who's learned the offense faster than Moss. Fisher saying it's been really impressive, not just to the coaching staff, but to the rest of the team. 1st and goal coming up as Randy Moss awaits his turn to get back on the field for Tennessee. Titans debut for Randy Moss. How has Moss done in the past? Well, his NFL debut, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns for Minnesota. First game as an Oakland Raider, 5 for 130 and a touchdown. First game as a New England Patriot, 9 for 183 and a touchdown. His return to Minnesota, he puts a touchdown on the board, 4 catches, 81 yards.
And if he catches a touchdown pass today, he'll be the first player ever to score for 3 different teams in one season. I'm not sure that's a stat you'd be real proud of. Well, one thing that they will do with Moss today, as we've already seen it, they'll put him in motion and try to keep the Dolphins from double teaming him. But the man who could really benefit along with Chris Johnson is the slot receiver, Devon Bess, who works a lot over the middle when he's in the game.
2nd and 8. Fake the handoff. Collins steps up. Collins dialing up the deep ball for Moss. It actually hits Davis in the back. And a flag thrown.
Ball underthrown. Davis never turned around for it. Had contact with Moss down the field. So this will go against Vontae Davis. Gary Collins, he's not afraid to throw the deep ball, especially to Randy Moss. You can see the double coverage here. It's dropped, and then the safety comes over later. There's Bell, but there's the contact. Easy call.
Chris Johnson hits the hole hard, and a 17-yard run for the score.
And you just asked the question, what will the effect and the presence of Moss do for Chris Johnson? We just seen it right here. Look at the double coverage. Both safeties are deep, and look, watch where this ball comes. Right by Sean Smith. Too late to make the play. Coming over is Chris Clemens, and Johnson in the end zone. That's because they were worried about Moss in the fade route. They double teamed him on that side and opened it up for Johnson.
Tennessee has tied this game at 7 apiece, and the long pass interference penalty certainly helped things along the way for Tennessee.
Yeah, you can see the Dolphins are very worried about the big play to Randy Moss. Let's check in on Randy Moss so far in his first quarter. Here's the pass interference penalty on Vontae Davis. That was good for 33 yards. And now the coverage on him. Good job by Vontae Davis that time. And then really not Moss's strength, but it was good enough to get Johnson whooshing right by him.
Rush coming. Collins throwing. And the connection. Ball is loose. Randy Moss unable to secure it. It's ruled incomplete, and a flag comes down.
Randy Moss at the end of this play. 13-year veteran Al Harris. He's going to tell Moss, hey, no freebies here.
From the 35, Young out of the gun, mishandles it initially. Able to regather and throw, and there it is. First catch for Randy Moss as a Tennessee Titan, and it comes at the 4:35 mark of the fourth quarter. First down, Tennessee. 26 yards through the air, Young to Moss.
Yeah, real loose prevent defense for the Dolphins as Al Harris passes Moss off to the safety who's still out of the picture. That's a tall order.
Third player in NFL history with a reception for 3 different teams in one season. Ray Pelfrey and Reggie Rucker the previous 2.
Randy Moss in his second game since coming over to the Titans made 1 catch last week, and they haven't even thrown to him yet.
The screen opens up because they buzz the safety out to get underneath Moss. As Charles was talking to, they've got double coverage on Moss. And we've got our back to the ball with Kareem Moore, so he never sees the screen, and he can't get himself back involved in the play until the ball's down inside the 5. So when you take something away, you give something up. You go back to the screen, and, you know, Randy Moss can have an effect on the offense in so many different ways. It's not just catching the ball, but you saw it on the screen game. You see it in the run game. Look what Chris Johnson did last week in the run game, and now they want him to get the ball down here in the end zone.
And you wonder whether he is being a little perturbed at that, but Jeff Fisher said he has really even improved the locker room. There you see, bottom of your picture.
Dick, you alluded to it. Jeff Fisher said something in the production meeting on Friday that I don't think a lot of NFL fans would believe, and he said Randy Moss has come in and he's improved our locker room, and that's contrary to what people think about Randy Moss. But I think Jeff Fisher is the perfect coach with the perfect temperament for a guy like Randy Moss. But what a strong statement that was.
I think you had the right answer, though, Dick. They saw Monday night. They thought it might be a lot easier than what it is.
So Randy Moss was the target for the touchdown there. None coming, and we'll be back all even.
Once again now, not something that you see with the naked eye, but Randy Moss clears out a side, and they bring Scaife from the other side all the way across the field. There's Moss running it off. He runs off D'Angelo Hall, and then there's no one in that zone.
And following the timeout by the Titans, here's Randy Moss, and you don't often see a smile on his face when he has no catches, thrown to only 1 time. 4th down and 3, and Rusty Smith going deep for Moss. Flag is down. And they're going to call offensive interference against Randy Moss for the push-off.
Offense number 84.
10-yard penalty, 4th down.
This is an obvious push-off by Moss. He gets away with this a lot of times, but not here.
See, D'Angelo's got him pinned, and there it is, Jim.
Pushed off D'Angelo Hall. And the crowd with the boos cascading here in Nashville.
Well, at the half, we showed Randy Moss looking pretty serene, remember? And Dick, you noted a guy who's only had one ball thrown to him seems to be in pretty good humor. I think that push-off was an indication that he's not in great humor. Not getting very many balls thrown to him, not having a chance to make plays.
Randy Moss on this pass.
Well, they've been working underneath and over the top. Here you see Hall underneath. Here Hall squats on the short route, but he's got Dowdy over the top. Now he can't run with him. And then here we've got Moore cutting, playing what we call Yale coverage. It's two man, so you're playing man underneath. You've got a safety over the top. But what you saw in that last series when Smith came in is Jim Haslett went more to single safety middle coverage, left Moss alone, and they didn't hesitate to try to take advantage of it.
Even if you know he's coming, I like what Mike Heimerdinger does. We know we know that we're going to give the ball to Chris Johnson. It's just how we get it to him. And they go with a slow draw and fake him out a little bit. Look at Randy Moss on the corner. It's not a blow him up block, but it's plenty to get Chris Johnson to the edge.
Randy Moss. One catch last week?
Yeah, and,
what about
and
this?
People are going to make a lot of that, but Randy Moss has done some tremendous things away from the football that's opened some things up for other receivers and for Chris Johnson. So his impact on the game has been felt. You just don't see it in numbers.
He has not made a catch in this game.
3rd and 10. Smith dealing with the crowd noise and the pressure. Throws on the sideline. It is caught by Randy Moss and a 1st down. His 2nd catch as a Tennessee Titan, and it covers 14 yards on the perimeter route.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was intended for Justin Gage. In fact, Gage is looking back. Watch as Rusty looking to his left side here. Number 12 is Gage. It goes right past Gage, and look who's there on the sidelines. Randy Moss, first down for the Titans, just what they need. The Titans get the 1st down reception by Randy Moss and then lose all that yardage on their next play, and that really sets this offense back and destroys any little bit of momentum they may have had with Moss's catch.
So Tennessee goes quietly once again on offense. On a 1st down for Tennessee. 2 minutes to play 1st half here at Reliant Stadium. Rusty Smith throws. Again, 2 players in the area, and it's a clean catch for Randy Moss.
Boy, Moss grabbed this right off the top of the grass. 8-yard reception for Moss, but again, it's Gage on the short route. He lets it go. That's not a catch. That's no catch. That will be reviewed upstairs and should be reversed.
Coaches can't challenge it. It would be a booth review.
Boy, that's unusual. They're not stopping it.
Now, Randy Moss had just 1 catch coming in to today's action as a member of the Tennessee Titans. And Moss getting involved with a couple of catches in the 1st half.
Yeah, good coverage that time by Glover Quinn. This ball looked like it was intended for Justin Gage, and so did this one. This one hit the ground, but they gave him the reception. 2 catches for Moss for 22 yards. He's the leading receiver for the Titans.
He is now 1 catch away from passing Andre Reed for 8th in NFL history.
The running attack should be a lot better because the Texans are playing a lot of 2 deep. They do not have 8 guys in the box. They're more concerned with stopping Randy Moss at this point, it appears.
Randy Moss, 4 games in New England, 4 games in Minnesota. Today, he could become the first player in NFL history to catch a touchdown for 3 different teams in the same season.
Will the real Randy Moss please stand up? Moss trotting over to the sideline.
One reason, and I don't have a problem with that, Randy Moss, if you go out there and you run on a drive, Randy Moss just ran a go route 55 yards all the way to the back of the end zone. He's gassed. Jeff Fisher has got a
find a way to get Randy Moss involved in the offense. Now he's back in the game after that timeout. It gave him a chance to catch his breath. Now he'll be back in. You see there having a conversation with Kerry Collins as he calls the play. I mean, you got to get him involved, double teamed or not.
4th down and 7 at the 42. They need to go to the 35 for first down. And Collins setting up. He's got Moss in the corner. Oh, he was open. Kerry Collins just couldn't put it on him.
That's another underthrown ball by Kerry Collins. You'll see Randy Moss is going to come out. He's going to break out to the left of your screen deep, and he's open. That's as open as you get, and you see there the ball is just underthrown. He can't pull it in. You got to put that ball way out towards the flag, and Collins just couldn't get it there. And that had touchdown written all over it.
Randy Moss, it's been a season of change for him. 3 games with the Titans. At Miami, 1 catch for 26 yards. Versus Washington, no catches. At Houston, 3 catches for 23 yards. And he's played with 3 teams this year. Patriots, Vikings, and now the Tennessee Titans. Randy Moss looking to get into the offense. No catches. They've thrown it to him only 1 time. Kerry Collins to the sideline. Randy Moss, first catch of the day. And Moss goes down at the 36. Mathis with the tackle. Now the fans starting to feel the momentum shift a bit. Here in Tennessee, Randy Moss with his first grab, a 13-yard gain.
Yeah, and the fans have been waiting for it, working against Mathis. Nice little hesitation, just a quick out, but he did a nice job selling him on a deep cut.
Well, Randy Moss still on the sideline of the Tennessee Titans. We haven't seen him in the ball game to this point. Indianapolis with a 14-0 lead. 5:57 to go in the first half. For more, here's Alex Flanagan.
Watching Randy Moss during this first half, and he kind of puts his jacket on. He'll sit on the sideline on the bench, and then when the Titans offense gets on the field, he'll take the jacket off, act like he's warming up, stretch out his hamstrings. He's ready, waiting to go in. We'll see if he gets in. Jeff Fisher said he would try to use both of these receivers, Kenny Britt and Randy Moss.
You know, the thing that people forget about Randy, or don't know about Randy Moss, is what a great football mind he has. He's a phenomenal worker. He is all about football. You hear about all the other stuff. You don't hear about the good things. He's one of the best teachers. In fact, his coaches were telling me this guy should be a coach. He's off the charts with how much football he knows.
We visited with Tennessee yesterday. We asked about Randy Moss. Kerry Collins said, I've never seen him block better. As Moss finally comes in the ball game. When you think of Randy Moss, it's not the first thing that jumps to your mind. Randy Moss is blocking really well.
And Kerry was with him in Oakland, and he was hurt out there, didn't really get into it as much, but he's at a stage now where he wants to do whatever he can.
We sure haven't talked about Randy Moss much today for Tennessee.
Well, Collins has thrown to 8 different receivers, and Moss hasn't been targeted with any of the passing attempts by Kerry Collins. Look, hasn't been thrown to in the last 75 pass attempts by a Tennessee Titans quarterback.
Going to look at Randy Moss, who hasn't really seen any action today. And I always say, even if he isn't catching passes, he still affects the game when he's on the field. And he's still very capable, and he gets your attention if you're a member of that secondary, but can't make any plays with your sideline cape on.
Hasn't had a pass thrown his way now in 3 straight games.
And we've not seen Randy Moss in the game in what could very possibly be, who knows, the last game of his career.
But I think for a while, I think everybody now has given up. Where's Randy Moss? We need to see him in this offense. And Jeff Fisher said, look, Randy Moss came down here. He looked at this number 18 in front of him, Kenny Britt, and went, wow, this guy's really good. So they understand. He understands why it's hard to get in there, but I think the Titans would like to, they're going to give him a chance, I think, today to get in, maybe catch a couple passes.
Of course, it's been quite an odyssey this year for Moss. Began with New England, went to Minnesota, and then cut and picked up here November the 3rd. In that Moss career, these numbers are staggering. Tied for the second most all-time touchdown receptions in the history of the game with Terrell Owens. Controversial figure, but it's a Hall of Fame career when you look at the numbers.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Hall of Fame career just for what he meant to offenses, for what he made the defense do, Jim, not just the catches.
Moss to the left, Moss the target, and he makes the catch. He holds on.
Did he get his feet down?
Yes, they rule it a catch at the 29. Justin Tryon defending.
Remember, there's no force out. Nice route by Randy Moss. Gets a clear release.
Did he get the feet down?
I never saw his feet down.
It might be a challenge flag. Moss had not been a target since the fourth quarter of a game back on December the 5th. 139 Collins pass throws again since he was last targeted.
The ruling on the field stands as called.
The 6th catch as a Titan since signing November the 3rd.
Well, watch Randy Moss's feet. There's no question the left one is in. It's going to kick up the pellets, but the right one, as you see, that shot there, you cannot say that it did not hit the ground. And even from this view, we thought we saw some pellets come underneath his right foot too.
Now look at this young man, this young lad here.
Oh yeah, he's giving him all the information there. Yeah, that's it.
Christopher Sims.
Well, just like in my house, he's got all the answers. But that was a big play. Nice catch by Randy Moss to hold on to it too after the big hit.
And really, Moss didn't play that well last year, or didn't play that hard. Whatever the case may be, he played for 3 teams and really didn't have an impact.
And now it looks like it's a career. And he did get calls during free agency, and he did have other chances to go play. But at this point in time, Randy Moss decided that the best course of action to move forward is to walk away from the game and to retire.